Thank you very much. Item number 5, public comment. We do have one person that has signed up. Chad. Come on up here, sir.
I'm having an issue with one of the ordinances for driveways. I have a front driveway, which is paved, and I have my back driveway, which is where my garage will go someday. But apparently with this ordinance, the 12 inches of gravel I have in my back driveway, I can't park my camper or my Yukon. I have a really nice neighbor, too. That's where it all comes from. So my issue is, why can't I park my camper and my Yukon back there? I have 12 inches of gravel, just because it's not pavement, brick, or asphalt. What do I gotta do about this?
Let him talk to Mike, or?
So you would talk to Mr. Chandler Poole right here, and he'll be able to point you in the right direction, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
What?
Do we not allow gravel, sufficient gravel, as a finished surface to park campers?
I'm not an expert. I don't believe we do. So if it's already gravel, it can be re-gravelled. But if you're gonna put something in, it can't just go in and it's gravel unless there's some accommodation. You know, if you're going to put in a surface, there's a time period, but you can't put that in as your permanent surface.
All right, I think I may have just recently gotten an answer from Alan in zoning that said otherwise, but
No, they'll figure
It
out
would
there.
depend,
They'll figure it out.
May depend on the area. I know the one that you just told me about, the issue was it's a non-conforming use typically,
okay.
gravel.
All right. We are going to then move on to item number 6.
Minutes of the August 26, 2019 meeting.
Move to approve the minutes as printed.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Item number 7, which is an update. Couple items. Thursday night Groove concert. Get your groove on with -6 at Schriever Park, sponsored by WHBF on September 12th, 2019. Thursday night Groove starts at 6 p.m. with concessions, including grilled items from Happy Joe's Pizza and Bent River Brewing Company. Then at 6:30 p.m., dance lessons begin, and all of which to followed by the concert from 7 to 9. Admission is free, so come out and enjoy the fun. Fall Community Garage Sale. Over 6,000 square feet of shopping for toys, trinkets, furniture, clothing, antiques, and much more for this year's Fall Community Garage Sale. Event will be held at Longview Park on September 28, 2019, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Vendor space is available by calling 309-732-7275. Admission is free, so come out, check out the sales. Quad City Vintage Football Game. Douglas Park was the site of one of the first ever professional football games between Rock Island Independence took on the St. Paul Ideas. On September 28, 2019, a game will be reenacted between the teams in a 1920s style 9-on-9 flag football game set to begin at 2 p.m. Complete with history, uniforms, and game rules. For information, please visit VintageAmericanFootball.com. VintageAmericanFootball.com. And that's it for that part. Thank you. Item number 8.
Proclamation declaring September 15, 2019 through October 15, 2019 as Hispanic Heritage Month. Proclamation. Whereas the Quad Cities Hispanic Chamber of Commerce strives to support, promote, and enhance the growth and success of local businesses and to leverage the assets, contributions, and the unique Hispanic cultural identity generate new business. And whereas the diverse Hispanic community has continued to build viable partners within the Quad Cities, to build relationships with Hispanic entrepreneurs who are willing to take a chance, just as has been a part of the rich history of the United States with immigrants from previous generations. And whereas during National Hispanic Heritage Month, the City of Rock Island recognizes the contributions made by the Hispanic and Latino Americans to the United States and the importance of their presence. And whereas the City of Rock Island does recognize, honor, and thank the courage of those who went from Hispanic immigrant to defender of this great country of ours, and to those who were killed, missing in action, prisoners of wars, and to those who were emotionally, mentally, or physically scarred, and those who were able to return home safely. And whereas today, 57 million people in America are of Hispanic or Latino origin, and we in the City of Rock Island would like to celebrate this Hispanic culture.
Now therefore, be it resolved that I, Mike Tomes, Mayor of the City of Rock Island, do hereby proclaim September 15th, 2019 through October 15th, 2019, be recognized as Hispanic Heritage Month. Is there somebody here that, oh, there we go.
On behalf of the Greater Quad City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, we thank you for the recognition.
Thank you very much. Why don't you come on up here, we'll do a little photo.
Somebody could take the photo.
Absolutely, gentleman right behind you.
Right behind you. Oh, this is a lot of pressure. I give it a shot. Okay, I can do that for sure. Well, I know. Hey, now you think, okay, 1, 2, 3, 2. All right. All right, 2, 3. All right, wonderful. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
All right, item number 9.
Presentation of the 2019 Tell on Your Neighbor Awards.
We have several of those to give out this evening. Come on up, and let me just do a little explanation of the process and the program. This is the 45th year of the Tell on Your Neighbor event, where neighbors nominate neighbors for their remarkably neat and well-maintained yards. Members of the Rock Island Beautification Commission are also nominated yards for this year's event. This program recognizes residents who make the extra effort to beautify their yards beyond the norm. The Beautification Commission believes these citizens should be recognized for their efforts, which encourage others to keep well-groomed yards as they assess the city. The Beautification Commission viewed a slideshow of the nominated homes and then selected the winners. This year, 14 Rock Island residents are being recognized for their efforts. I'll read the names of this year's winners. Those present should come forward when their name is called and receive their certificate. And then we'll also do a photo. Tonight we will see the slides of the winners' winning yards so everyone can see the contributions these residents have made to their neighborhoods and the city. Please stay up once again to receive your award and have a group photo. So, with that being said, is there a resident, I don't have a name, resident from 2700 21st Avenue? Did anybody hear from that, recognize the address? Obviously not. Michael Hines, is he here? How about Ken Schroeder? Here, come on up, please. We didn't have, up there's the photo. Thank you very much. I recognize the name here, Carrie Ann Crompton and Mary Ann Caruso. I know Mary Ann's here, I saw her. She's always had a good eye. Good. Thank you. Look at those beautiful flowers. Paul Weiner. No? Okay. That was at 2008 38th, okay. Dennis Senior and Jane Woodward. Hey here. A lot of beautiful flowers there, yeah, isn't it? Patrick and Carol Frey. You know, these beautiful gardens aspire to this. We got Sharon and Kay Caldwell. Sharon and Kay Caldwell here? Oh, there they come. Teresa Laxey and is it Michelle Payne?
Michael.
Michael Payne. That was A-E-L, but okay, there we go.
There it says Michael.
Typo. All right, it is, isn't it? Some really nice stuff. Barbara Craver. I need to stand up and see what's going on. We have Rose and Frank Edwards. Beautiful yards, I'll tell you that. Eric Wood and family. How about, oh, there it is. What a contrast with that White House. Beautiful. Shirley Hass. All right, and the last one is Pam and Greg Young. They are.
Look at that.
A lot of beautiful colors there. A lot of water. This spring it didn't need any extra watering, but we need to scoot in, get in close for a photo, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not gonna be in the front. Are we all gonna be in one picture? All in one picture. I'm short among other things, I'm not gonna be in the front.
Sideways.
Come on, Marina. Come on. We've done this before. Is that microphone on the way there, Jason, or? What's that? Is that microphone on the way, or we all right?
Well, you're smarter than everybody. I'm going. One, two, three. Come on, two.
Someone right behind you. I'll be all right behind you.
I got you, bud. Thank you.
Long legs. Bound for failure. I was out there chatting too long, I wasn't able to grab it.
All right, we got item number 10.
Presentation of the 2019 Rain Garden Awards.
All right, so that process, the city's Beautification Commission began the Rain Garden Award Program 14 years ago to recognize the efforts made by citizens in creating and maintaining rain gardens through the city's Rain Garden for Rock Island program. Rain gardens are shallow depressions planted with perennial plants that are located near a downspout or an area that sheds notable amounts of rainwater. Rain gardens provide beneficial functions that include reducing stormwater runoff, flooding, absorption of pollutants, and sustaining native wildlife. The Beautification Commission is recognizing 4 rain gardens this year. The names of all the participants will be read. A photo will be shown of the rain garden on the screen. This year's best rain garden winners are neighbors. When I read the names for the best rain garden winners, please come forward and receive the certificates. Remain up here once again for a photo. We have, the very first one is Tierney Bronis. I'm not,
Tierney Brochus.
Tierney? Anybody here? All right, how about John and Robin Jurick? They're not here. How about Jerry Shirk? I haven't seen Grace, but Jerry? Nobody could make it. Best Rain Garden, a collaboration between neighbors. Michael Mandel, 3510 30th Avenue. Oh, it says he will not be attending, I do see that. And Joel Keim, 3500 30th Avenue. Is Joel here? Joel Keim. Boy, we struck out on this one, getting people here. Well, and I probably went a little fast here, but for the pictures, but. It's a great job, great program for many years and helped the community. Thank you very much for what you guys do in the Beautification Commission. Thank you.
I would like to thank the city staff, and Kathy does a lot of work on this program, so the city
she does.
staff supports us, and I thank you very much for that.
No problem, thank you. It's a group effort. Item number 11. Oops.
A special ordinance authorizing acquisition of 15 Rock Island County tax auction properties for the total sum of $14,201.
Move to consider suspend the rules and pass the ordinance.
Second.
Moved in second, any discussion?
Chandler, why are we buying these? Is there any particular strategic value? Or are we just buying up things to take them off the tax rolls and,
And stockpile them?
Yeah.
No, every year when the list of tax auction properties comes up, we plot them against ones we currently own. Basically, we want to make sure that if we find that any that are contiguous to what we have, to make a larger site, we want to try to get those. We also look at the structures that are available. If there are some that are structurally sound, that's a wonderful thing for us to try to go get, and then maybe turn it over to a developer and use that as incentive. I mean, we could have our way with just about all of them, but we look at them, we compare them to what we currently have to make sure what we're buying is strategically located and has a purpose.
Do any of these have properties on them that are structurally sound? Do you know?
To tell you the truth, I don't know, I don't remember all of them, but
Okay.
Chris Young and I and staff, we toured them, looked at them, because you can't get into them, you know, going to see them from the outside, and some were rejected right out. They were just, he could tell, and others said, yes, this is one we should pursue, so.
Didn't we, maybe time has passed me, but didn't we have an RFP out a few months ago about a property that was given to a developer and fixed up? Was that a couple
That wa-
months ago?
That was a property on 44th Street that we picked up a couple of years ago from the tax auction. And we do have, excuse me, we do have someone who is interested in the parcel. We are working through that right now, and we need to make sure that we understand the scope of work that needs to be done on the house compared to what they think needs to be done, so we're all in agreement before we go forward.
Cool. All righty,
Ken?
thank you.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Brigettis.
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Motion carried.
Item number 12.
An ordinance authorizing the issuance of 4 series of unlimited tax general obligation bonds, Series 2019A, for the refunding of all or a portion of the outstanding taxable general obligation bonds, Series 2010A. Series 2019B, for the refunding of all or a portion of the outstanding taxable general obligation bonds, Series 2009C. Series 2019C, for the refunding of all or a portion of the outstanding taxable general obligation bonds, Series 2014B, and Series 2019D, for the financing of street, alley, and roadway improvement projects at an estimated cost of $2 million. This is the second reading.
I make a motion to pass the ordinance.
Second.
Moved in second, any discussion?
Yeah. Sorry. Stephanie, can you come up and explain there's a lot more people in the audience this time around than the last time, so, and who knows who's watching at home, but can we get an explanation of what we're doing here, please? Thank you. And sorry to make you come up here again.
No, good job.
So we have 4 series as outlined in the reading. The first 2 are actually refunding bonds, and so we have outstanding bonds that by nature of their structure, there's a call date that is this fall, so there's a great opportunity to look at rates, and in fact, rates have even dropped a bit more since we started this process. One of them is paid for currently out of our wastewater area, water and wastewater area, and it's Build America bonds that we took out in 2010. So we're looking at savings for those by refunding them. Same time period, not shortening the date at all, to the tune of about $200,000 in savings through the life of those. The next series is in our TIF, in the Columbia Park TIF. This is one that I get excited about, and that is refunding that debt and shortening the life cycle. So basically paying off our mortgage 4 years early. That adds an additional $100,000 in savings and puts us right about $250,000 in savings to be used in that TIF district for other purposes. So that is great. The third series is actually restructuring the next 5 years of principal for our Watchtower debt. Those bonds were issued in 2014, so we're looking at restructuring the next 5 years of principal, putting it at the latter end of that debt payment schedule, still within the confines of the TIF, hoping that we have development in that TIF. And as those call dates come up on those bonds, we'll do exactly what we're doing with the other first 2 issues I mentioned and look for opportunities to refinance, pay it off sooner, et cetera. So that would be a major goal of ours. And then the fourth one is reimbursing ourselves for roadway improvement projects. Notably, the biggest portions is the match that we have to pay for 38th Street rework, which looks great, and 18th Avenue.
All right, so to clarify perhaps, or to unjargon your explanation, which is very well done, but the first 2 bonds are basically like, for those of us that have mortgages, you can refinance your mortgage and get a lower interest rate, and so then you're paying off less over the course of the loan, which is great, right? Something like that.
Perfect.
Equivalent, which is very good. At the last city council meeting, I did raise objection to the last 2 bonding decisions here. A quick summary, so when the Watchtower Plaza site was demoed and cleared for a development project that did not come through, the city at that time, you said it was back in 2000 and, what year did we originally issue those bonds to do that?
2014.
2014, okay. So at that time, we bonded, which is, I like to make it an equivalent of having a credit card. I mean, it's debt, really. You don't have the money, so you gotta use a credit card to pay for something. The city put on our credit card via bonding the money to demo that site and to prepare it for a development project that never came through. Now, what we're doing here is we're basically saying that we don't want to pay, or we want to pay less upfront for the next 5 years, right?
Correct.
Going forward, because money is tight right now in the city of Rock Island, admittedly, and tack that at the end of the life of the debt, which alleviates some short-term, we need to find the money to pay for our debt right now, but overall, it is increasing the total amount of debt that we owe. Oh, well, assuming that,
Assuming we keep with the same debt service schedule, which hopefully we will not. We will pay it off sooner.
right, if there's some sort of development project or something that happens there that gives us the revenue to pay for paying it off sooner, right?
Yes.
It's an if. And so, I guess and I won't make it as big of a stink as I did last time, but I understand I understand why you're making the recommendation, and I appreciate your expertise in providing this to the council. Ultimately, for me, it comes down to a decision on the principle of things. I understand that times are tight, but we need to pay our debt and not keep on going back to more credit cards to continuously building debt. We gotta just pay off our debt. And same thing for the street improvements, the final bond there. I have proposed a number of different revenue options for paying for street improvements. They're not popular. People don't like having to pay parcel taxes or whatever, but we're using a credit card to pay for repairing our streets, and streets don't generate revenue directly, right? It's not like a business moving in that's going to generate property taxes or sales taxes. It's a liability for us. So we're using a credit card to pay for something that's going to be just a net negative on our expenses. So in my humble opinion, we should just bite the bullet and raise revenue as a municipality, which is not popular. I understand that. But we're still charging this to the taxpayers. We're just not doing it now. We're hoping that we can get a development project to pay for this in the future, which is exactly what we did in 2014 when we started this, right? So please entertain my objection. Final thing, sorry, Alderman Swanson. I brought up an idea in the past, or not in the past, but I brought it up to you, Stephanie, the idea of some sort of trigger or circuit breaker or something like that, where at some point decisions about bonding should go to referendum to the taxpayers or the voters for the city of Rock Island, right? It's easy for us to make these decisions, but when we're talking about, like the Watchtower Plaza TIF is a good example, I think, and I've talked to you about this, but we had speculative development. We put on a lot of money for a project that we thought was, and rightfully so, the city staff thought it was going to go through. I'm not blaming anybody, but still, the development wasn't there before we had this TIF district, and we put a bunch of money on a credit card that we were hoping development would pay for. Something like that, I really think that we should consider changing the policy of the city of Rock Island to having it go to the voters when you're going to do a large bonding idea. Maybe, I don't know, and this is where the professionals can help out the language, but when it has to do with speculative development or something like that, the decision that a handful of people made is continuing to reverberate. I mean, what's the long-term debt total for the city of Rock Island right now?
Any other day, I know that off the top of my head. I am thinking that our bonds are right around 55 million projected at the end of 2019.
Right.
Add another 60 million or so for the IEPA loans.
Right, so we're sitting at $110 million worth of debt. That's, what, $3,000 per human being in the city of Rock Island?
And that also includes the water filtration.
Right, and that's your water bill.
Stormwater and everything else,
Right.
which are separate enterprise funds.
Yeah, that's what you pay
So
your
it's-
water bills for, but
That's
ultimately,
correct.
that's still a tax on the citizens of Rock Island. But we should have more of a conversation about who gets to make these decisions about putting us $110 million worth in debt. These are good reasons to go in debt sometimes, and if that's the case, we should articulate that to the public and get their buy-in, like we did with the schools' local, the 1% local tax, right? Eventually, they were able to articulate to the public why that was a good thing to invest in, and now we are seeing the benefits of doing that. A conversation for a later day, but we really, for the future, keep these things in mind. Or even, like, what might be a good idea at one point, give it a month, let other people look at it, and maybe you'll come back and say, well, actually, here's a different idea, or maybe we didn't think about this. I just think we need to have a few more circuit breakers in the process to prevent 8 people from taking on massive amounts of debt.
Of course, that's why the people elect us, and,
I
you
know.
have the system we have, and of course, the home rule to be able to do that.
I'll get off my soapbox now.
If they don't
Thank you.
like it, then they don't re-elect you on the deal, and that's maybe where some of them aren't sitting still up here.
Yeah. We still have the debt, though, unfortunately. It'd be
that's
nice to have
correct.
avoided that.
That is correct. The other issue is, and I don't want to belabor this either, is that
Yeah.
some of these projects are, when you do talk about street projects and that sort of thing, they're large dollar amounts,
Mm-hmm.
and it would take a long time to save enough money, so to speak, to be able to do them, and they'd be done at a slower rate than what they're done at now. It's poor English. But they're being performed at and cleaned up. So that's the downside of not doing bonds. And typically, the bond length is shorter time than what the life of the roads are. That's why you do, once again, you do that. You don't do the bonds typically for, let's say, vehicles and that sort of thing, that have a shorter life on them. But otherwise, we wouldn't be able to get much done.
Right.
Because we don't generate enough extra revenue to get these done, so it's an advantage of them.
Yep. So,
Well, I do want to point out, because I think some people are going to get lost and twisted around in the conversation. Other than the $2,000 street, alley, and roadway improvement, we are not taking on any additional debt.
That's correct.
Other than that. So
No.
I don't want people to think that the restructuring of the bond is us taking on more debt, because I don't want people to get confused. So all we're looking at is restructuring the debt to make it easier for us to pay it. If we were to not go ahead and redo the Watchtower Plaza one and pay our credit card as we go, we would have to significantly, and I mean significantly, raise taxes. And I don't think anybody wants that. So I think, to clarify everything, what we are doing is being fiscally responsible with what we have inherited, moving forward to make it the most palatable for the residents, and to go, everybody, I don't know how many calls everybody gets, but I get tons of calls about roads. So I think the roads are a significant thing and a significant reason for us to take on the additional debt, because the reality is when people are looking at our city, if our roads are in really bad shape, people aren't going to want to move here. So I just wanted everyone to understand that we are not taking on significant debt and putting more things on our credit card, so to speak. But what we're doing is being fiscally responsible and making things better for the citizens of Rock Island. And also, when that one Watchtower bond or debt, when we start getting those higher payments, our other bonds will be paid off. So it will be much easier for us at that point in time to pay those off and not be hamstringing the city as it would be if we did not go ahead and approve this.
Yes, so the only new money is that 2 million. And when you look at our projected December 31st, 2019 bonds outstanding, that amount will be less than what we owed a year ago at that same point, just by nature of us continuing to make bond payments.
I don't understand the Watchtower Plaza restructuring. By restructuring the debt that we currently have on that, we are adding more to the debt.
Adding interest, not borrowing any.
Okay, yeah.
Any new
I
money.
guess maybe there's the technicality of difference. We are not borrowing more money, we are just adding more interest to the debt, which is more money that we have to pay.
Correct. So like if you were to refinance your mortgage, you owe $70,000, and you only had 5 years left, you would still likely, unless you're not rolling in any other debt of yours, if you're just refinancing that 70,000, you still owe 70,000.
You just
In
might have a
balance.
higher interest rate.
Yeah.
So my point,
Or
okay,
more years.
sorry if I was not clear with my statement. We're not changing the total amount of, I'm using debt and like money owed the same. We're not changing the difference in the total debt amount of the loan, but we are increasing the interest owed on that debt, which is still more money ultimately that we're gonna have to pay. What did your spreadsheet show, an additional something dollars on the debt, do you remember?
I want to
It's all
say if the new debt service schedule had an added over $1 million of interest over the life of the loans, if we stayed
Right.
with that payment schedule, I think 2037 was the last year of that.
Right, and how much was the original bonding for? 10 million, 15 million, something like that?
Original was
Well,
about
well,
15 million.
Right, so, I mean, we are tacking on an additional $1 million worth of interest payments on a $15 million loan.
At this point. It could
At
be-
this
it
point,
could
and I
change.
understand debt service changes and all that good stuff, but I made my point. Thank you
Now,
very
is
much.
there a prepayment penalty on the bond? So like if we were all of a sudden to find ourselves with a gift of money, or if we were to have that land developed, then this becomes a moot point, because then we can go ahead and pay it off.
Yeah, there are bond structure, there's language within it. Call dates can come up and we can pay off bonds sooner. So generally around call dates, and then after that, certainly.
Which is what we're doing to some of the bonds.
Exactly.
We're saving some of the interest that we would have been paying at a lower rate. So in that regard, we're actually saving money.
I understand.
We're taking it from the pension.
Right.
I do not budget my household hoping that I'm gonna have a gift that's gonna pay my debt, right? That's my point
Okay,
here.
so wrong terminology. The reality is we're actively trying to develop the property.
I
So the chances of
understand.
us sitting 20 years from now and having to pay that extra $1 million in interest is probably pretty slim.
And the people who sat in these seats in 2014, when they took out the debt that did this in the first place, thought the exact same thing. We're actively marketing it, we're doing it, don't worry, this is gonna get paid for.
Yeah.
And here we are, 5 years later, having to make these decisions because they indebted us. I'm not,
Right.
that my point is,
They did belabor this, but the issue
Yeah.
is that, also I want to bring up, is that they incurred the debt for that site and everything else, but we saw increase in revenue because of it.
I
Once
know,
again,
let's not
you got-
open up
you
the
got
Pandora's
the
box.
business park behind city limits there that now have new buildings that are paying higher property taxes, that's a
Mm-hmm.
redeveloped an area. You got Hill and Valley that has expanded several times and added a lot of employees and is paying property taxes more than was there before. It was gonna leave, actually, totally. So it wasn't 100% loss. It just is in a different bucket, coming in a different place on some of them. And so,
I don't mean to relitigate Watchtower Plaza. I just mean to say that I don't like using a credit card to pay for credit card debt. Point made. Thank you.
okay, time to move on. How about a roll call?
Alderman Keenan,
Aye.
Hurt,
Yes.
Spargattis.
Yes.
Swanson,
Yes,
Parker,
No.
Pulis,
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 nay, motion carried.
Item 13.
Claims, A and B. A, report from the Human Resources Department regarding payment in the amount of $14,732.49 to David Morrison of Rock Island, Illinois, for legal services rendered from August 1st, 2019 through August 29th, 2019. And B, report from the Public Works Department regarding payment number 2 in the amount of $65,715 to Green Space Associates of Davenport, Iowa for the 2019 sod replacement program for services provided from April 19th, 2019 through August 5th, 2019.
Move to accept the reports and authorize payments as recommended for claims item A and B.
Second.
Moved to second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Keenan,
Aye.
Hurt,
Yes.
Spargattis.
Yes.
Swanson,
yes,
Parker,
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, motion carried. And claims C through E. C, report from the Public Works Department regarding payment in the amount of $21,044.97 to Valley Construction of Rock Island, Illinois for an emergency sewer repair on 14th Avenue and 38th Street. D, report from the Public Works Department regarding payment number 6 and final in the amount of $24,010.56 to Langman Construction Incorporated of Rock Island, Illinois for the 2017, 2018, 2019 catch basin and manhole program for services provided from June 18, 2019 through July 29, 2019. And E, report from the Public Works Department regarding payment number 23 in the amount of $622,503.50 to Civil Constructors Incorporated of East Moline, Illinois, for the water filtration facility project for services provided from July 18, 2019 through August 15, 2019.
Motion to accept the reports and authorize payments as recommended for claims C through E. Is that right?
Yes.
second,
Moved and second. Any discussion?
I have to recuse myself due to the nature of my employment.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Keenan.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Spargattis.
Yes.
Swanson.
yes,
Pulis.
Yes.
5 ayes, no nays, motion carried.
Item 14.
Claims for the weeks of August 23rd, 2019 through August 29th, 2019, in the amount of $450,198.93. and August 30th, 2019 through September 5th, 2019, in the amount of $168,905.44, and payroll for the weeks of August 12th, 2019 through August 25th, 2019, in the amount of $1,476,074.83.
Move to allow the claims in the payroll.
Second.
Moving second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Spargattis.
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Motion carried.
Item 15.
Report from the Public Works and Library Departments regarding the purchase of a 2014 Ford F-59 bookmobile from LDV Custom Specialty Vehicles of Burlington, Wisconsin, in the amount of $166,524.
Motion to approve the purchase as recommended.
Second.
And second, any discussion? Could I have some?
I was gonna say, I'd like to ask Angela to come up and talk with us about it.
The team's back there.
There's my backup. First off, I do want to say thank you to Mike and Alan from Public Works. They've been very helpful facilitating this deal, and thank you to my board members back there. Some weren't even here when we started talking about this a couple years ago, and Jenny being one of them, and Debbie being another. And a huge thank you to Kathy Lalonick and the foundation, because they are donating $100,000 towards this purchase. So 2 years ago, when we started our strategic planning, we did community sessions. We did a lot of community sessions, and one of the ideas that came out of that was focusing on our outreach efforts and purchasing a mobile library so we could get out into the community. And when we did the voting at these sessions, it always came out as being that one of the top things on the list that people wanted was the mobile library. And so once we instituted the strategic plan in January of this year, we started looking at how could we afford this, because I knew that they were really pricey. And through exploring the leasing options, we found a used one, a 2014 mobile library that has less than 500 miles on it, and the price tag comes in about $100,000 less than a brand new one. And so we were ecstatic. We went and looked at it. It definitely will fit our needs. So that's that side of it. The other side is, well, what are you going to do with the bookmobile, right? So we have mobility will be out into the community. Flexibility, of course, and sustainability. The whole community will be able to benefit from it, because we'll be going to places such as, baseball games. Your brother's playing baseball, you're in the stands. I don't have anything to do, I'm gonna go to the library, they're sitting here. So turning new people on to the library, those that haven't been to one of our physical locations in a long time may be surprised to learn what we offer. And we don't call it a bookmobile, we're trying to get everyone used to calling it a mobile library, because it'll offer programs, it'll offer books, it'll offer our library of things items such as mobile hotspots and all the fun things that we do, check out games. We'll have laptops. We're looking at what kind of printer we can have on, so people need resume help, homework help. They'll be able to do that in a remote location, because we do understand that people aren't themselves mobile and can't get to our locations. So it'll be an evolution. We'll start with a little route, and we'll do some pop-up programs with it, going to maybe Red, White, and Boom. Who knows? I mean, you might see us everywhere. It's a driving advertisement for the library. We're going to look at ways that we can subsidize it by having advertising on it. We support literacy, sell ads, our company's on the side of the mobile library. We have great big ideas, and obtaining it is the first step, and we found such a really great deal. We will do the census. It's really endless what we can do with this purchase. So.
And I would like to add that both the Library Foundation Board and the Library Board all wholeheartedly support this.
Yes, unanimously, both boards voted to support it.
So this is just for the purchase price. Retrofitting it, vinyl wrapping it, all of that hasn't really been determined yet, or is it ready to go once you get it?
It's the only thing that isn't ready is the wrap. Internally, yes, it's already fitted with book trucks, bookshelves. And that price also does include the lift for the book trucks and handicap accessibility. So it's
Do
all
you
in.
have a staff member to drive it?
Working on that.
I've already got dibs
No.
I'll drive it to block club meetings.
already. I have one question, Angela.
Yes.
On the bottom of the report, it's submitted by yourself, Mike Bartels, and Alan Vanderhayden, the fleet manager. Is this Alan right here?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Nice to
you
meet
don't
you,
know
sir.
Alan?
Glad to see you here.
Yes, he's been great. He checked it all out for us.
Collaboration.
Thank you all.
So this is going to be a city fleet vehicle, right? Just like our dump trucks, just like our inspection vehicles. I guess we lease those, right? I don't know how that works, but anyway, this is a municipal vehicle?
No, you can't take it to go to
No,
a
I'm not,
conference.
no interest, but we have the technicians on staff to repair it.
It'll be part of fleet, and that fleet will be within the library's budget.
Okay.
So,
Just like your other vehicles.
right.
All right, I figure if we can work on dump trucks, we can probably work on a bookmobile, maybe.
All right,
Anything else?
it's great.
Thank
Wonderful,
you.
thank you. Thank you back to the foundation and the board for the commitment and Public Works. Great collaboration. We're ready for a roll call, unless you had something, Alderman? Okay. Roll call, please.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Spargattis.
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Motion carried.
Item 16.
Report from the Public Works and Fire Departments regarding the emergency purchase of a 2020 Pierce Aero pumper fire truck from Global Emergency Products of Aurora, Illinois, in the amount of $582,306.
Move to approve the purchase as recommended, refer to the city attorney for an ordinance declaring the current truck as surplus, and permission be given to staff to dispose of the truck in a manner most advantageous to the city.
Second.
Pick one. Any discussion?
All right, chief, if Angela had to come up and say what she was doing.
He wants a new toy.
A fire engine. Wait a minute, is this a fire truck or a fire engine?
Yeah, so this will be a pumper. We had two twin vehicles that were 1997 Lexus vehicles. One of those was replaced in 2016. This will replace the other one that will go into surplus. So it'll be just a straight pumper with less. It won't have a squirt ladder like the current one does, so that saved us some money. We spec'd a different engine, which will save some money as well. So.
Since this is an emergency purchase, can you tell us what happened that we need this vehicle right now?
So we found multiple cracks in the frame and bodywork. Alan can probably speak more to some of the
DOT
things they found.
violation right there, maybe.
So it's just unsafe for the firefighters?
It cannot be used on the street right now.
It was oh yeah, I guess it does say emergency purchase. I missed that.
Yeah, the other advantages we'll have is this will be the exact same vehicle as the one we bought in 2016, which is our goal, to make all the ones we buy from here on out the same. That way, if a member works overtime or works trade, he goes from this station to this station, will be on the exact same truck. He'll know how to work it from start to finish, so,
Was this on the plan for replacement anyhow?
yes.
So how quickly?
We allocate funding to replace it? I mean, that's a serious question.
Yep.
Well, so it's part of the fleet, the fleet amortization fund has money in it, and this would have been purchased next year.
In this year's next year's budget, so we're taking out of this year's budget? for the
Well, it
emergency
wasn't
purchase?
budgeted, none of that money was budgeted. So it's just in this fund, so yeah, there's gonna have to be an increase come back with an increase to the budget.
It was gonna be put in the 2020 budget, and then this came about, and so we're moving forward with that. And it's my understanding, we're still gonna use 2020 funds to pay for the purchase, so.
But it's the same account, I guess. There's just money in the account right now that,
Station account.
whether we purchase it this year or next.
Do we have one amortization fund for all city fleet vehicles?
We do.
Yeah?
Different, I mean, it's one amortization account, enterprise funds, water, sewer, they put in
Yeah, the,
general fund vehicles,
Right.
depending on how the budget goes. vehicles get pushed back and don't get replaced, and it is what it is.
So then how do departments jockey for their vehicle, to be the one that gets replaced?
Fist fight.
Yeah.
I'm new to this, so
Yeah.
this is my first time going with it, but we literally get together, meet, have input from all departments, and some people get pushed back, some people don't. I mean, it
Just as a
it's
needs?
just the demand at that time.
But this purchase will put some on the list back.
So there's not a list, there's recommendations. We have every year, or every vehicle that we have in our fleet is on a 20-year replacement plan. And so obviously this was a 1997, so technically it should have been replaced in 2017. Was pushed back for a few years to save funding.
What percent, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, what's the success rate that we're having at replacing vehicles in 20 years?
We're behind.
So we used to replace all of the vehicles on time. Because we paid in amortization. If a vehicle was amortized for 15 years, every year, 1/15 of that future purchase price
Right.
would be put into the fund. But a few years ago, we stopped doing that just for fiscal reasons. So what you're talking about is relatively new. We really haven't done much of that before on the prioritizing, because when your year was up, you just got a new vehicle. That's kind of how it was done. So this is kind of new, so we're taking the vehicles that need to be replaced the most, and we're replacing those.
Yeah, well, I mean, if this is new, it's not like our amortization is getting any better, so we're gonna have more and more of this to the point where, I mean, what if the fire engine goes out tomorrow and it needs to be emergency replaced? I mean,
So we're looking at options for that. Obviously, one option is leasing. We're working with Enterprise and having conversations. We've leased vehicles from them several years ago, just the light-duty pickups, and we're looking to expand that. We've kicked around an option of doing 72 vehicles. The average life of those vehicles in this 72 vehicle plan was 16 years old. Some of those vehicles have over 200,000 miles on them. And so we're looking at ways to be able to replace what we need to with the funding we have, and that's really about the only option we have to
Right.
do that at this point.
yeah, I guess
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
A couple things with this vendor too is, they can do the build time. Usually it's 9 to 10 months. They told us they could do it in 6 to 7. And they also offer prepayment discount too. So, the city, I think, is gonna pay half,
We're doing
50%. And so they offered us a discount, to pay that half up front too. So
Yeah.
there are some advantages to going with this vendor as well.
What are we doing in the interim, since we have one truck that's not available? I take it this not available yet. How long will it be before it's available?
It won't be.
So we're looking at probably 7 to 8 months. So in the meantime, we're borrowing from other agencies as we need to.
Well, Arsenal FD and Moline FD coming in.
And they do the same.
Yeah, we swap vehicles all the time. They borrow ambulances and from us all the time, so.
I guess I wasn't really suggesting that we can't afford to do this or whatever. What I was getting at is that, again, sort of this short term, I understand that we're saving money by not putting money into amortizing our vehicles, but then we get to the point where, oh, hey, vehicles are broken and we need them working and we don't have money in the piggy bank to fix them or replace them. So, I mean, that's part of the budget conversations, but I know every single time that I've been part of a budget conversation, amortizing vehicles has been punted, I think. At some point, that's
That's
gonna catch
correct.
up to us.
Well, Alan's got a good group of mechanics, so if you trust that guy over there, he can keep anything running except this fire truck.
Yeah, except for this fire truck. I mean, I
But
was
this
I
fire
was
truck
also
is
a mechanic in a
23
previous
years
life.
old almost, so it's
Yeah, well,
really reached the end of its life.
and I'm advocating that we replace our broken vehicles, but I'm also advocating that we allocate funding to do so. Long-term, strategically, big picture. Thanks.
All right. How about a roll call?
Alderman Keenan.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Brigadis.
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, motion carried.
Item 17,
Report from the Human Resources Department regarding a proposed labor agreement between the city and Fraternal Order of Police Command Officers Association for the period of January 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2021.
Motion to approve the proposed labor agreement as recommended and authorize the city manager to execute the contract documents.
Second.
moved in second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Spargattis.
Yes.
Swanson. Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, motion carried.
Item 18,
Report from the Community and Economic Development Department regarding an ordinance providing for the sale of real estate properties in the home program.
Move to approve the list of properties for sale as recommended and consider suspend the rules and pass the ordinance.
Second.
there was an enthusiastic second.
I was waiting for somebody else to do it.
Any discussion?
Mayor, can we have an update on the home program, or Tara? I'm not sure who does what.
I love that.
Yeah.
The home program, let's see, 2017, we came in front of you, 2018, I'm sorry, came in front of you, and we had 27 lots put up in the program. We've sold one, and that site, actually, they bought the site next to it that we owned, and they went up to the private party and bought a third lot. It is under construction on 12th and 2nd. Mr. Charles Keel is the one who purchased the property. He's working on that. We've had quite a few people recently actually inquire about the lots that we have. We made some changes to the new one that you see here. We're asking to be reauthorized. We have 6 lots they're asking to be brought in. But also we're looking at the way the home program is established. The first year or originally how it was established, the lots were only available to those who wanted to build their own home, had to be owner occupied. It's a great idea. We also want to look at those lots that are out there that haven't been sold that might be attractive to a developer to come in. So we're looking at year 2 going forward, as things are brought into the 2nd year, 3rd year, 4th year, whatever, they're now available for developers to purchase. The goal is to get housing, get houses on these lots. But the first year, I still firmly believe, and I like the way the program's constructed, is that should go to those who want to build their own home. So we have some changes to the program here, and basically that's bringing 6 more lots in, but then also looking at those who have been in the program already, opening that up to developers to buy the lots and to put housing up.
So after 1 year of being on the market, if no owner-occupied builder buys it up, then a landlord could build a rental property there.
It could be a rental property, it could be that someone builds a house and then sells it.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Well, that's cool. Thanks.
Anything else? Roll call.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Spargattis.
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, motion carried.
Item 19,
Report from the Community and Economic Development Department regarding a revised ordinance amending Chapter 11, Article 2, Division 1, Sections 11-16 and 11-17 relating to the Citizens Advisory Committee.
Move to approve the proposed changes as recommended and consider and suspend the rules and pass the ordinance. I'm gambling here, people.
love the hesitation.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Geenan.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Spargattis.
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, motion carried.
Item 20,
Report from the Public Works Department in Sunset Marina regarding a request from the Coast Guard Auxiliary Station at Sunset Marina to use the parking lot area and empty garage space at the marina on Sunday, September 29, 2019, from 8 a.m. to noon for their annual fundraising breakfast and a request to hang their banner in Sunset Park at the drive-in entrance to Sunset Marina.
Motion to approve the requests as recommended.
Second.
Move to second. Any discussion? I must say, if you haven't been down there, they do a pretty good job of cooking up some fried eggs and pancakes and that sort of thing for a reasonable price. They do a good job, and have for years, along with the boaters, little boaters bash that we had a week or so ago. Different organization.
Did that go well?
It went real well.
Yeah?
Yeah, Tim did a good job down there cooking up food, and
Nice.
Tim Kavanaugh, and it was a pretty good-sized party. I don't know if Denise was down there or not. I didn't see it early, but it was a good turnout. Some good music, along with, in this last weekend, not really deviating from the conversation here, but the poker run was a great, it looked like a good success. I saw the aerial, they had a drone out there taking some pictures, and everybody made comments, what are all these boats doing up at the locks? And everything else. Your wife actually called me and said, what's going on?
Yeah.
And so they ran their boats all the way up through a couple locks, and then did the poker run at each marina all the way down, and then had a party at Sunset there with the band and music, on music and food and that sort of thing. And Tim Kavanaugh did that one also. And once again, it looked like that was a pretty good success, good-sized crowd and everything else. So some good publicity, recognition for Sunset. Also, the individual people that run in it would be Kavanaugh's or the Coast Guard Auxiliary. It's, once again, flaunting and getting out there an asset the city has, being that marina, which they're working hard at trying to get recover from the flood. Well, there's still a little ways to go, but limited funds, limited people, but we'll get there. So, sorry about belaboring it a little bit there.
No,
but
it's nice to hear.
it's going well. It's going well. They're working very hard down there. Roll call, please.
Alderman Keenan.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Spargattis.
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Motion carried.
Item 21.
Report from the Community and Economic Development Department regarding an amendment to Chapter 14, Article 4 of the Code of Ordinances relating to the Arts Commission, appointment of all members of the Arts Advisory Committee to the Arts Commission with terms identical to those currently being served, and dissolution of the Arts Advisory Committee.
Move to approve the proposed changes to the Code of Ordinances as recommended, approve other changes as requested, and refer to the city attorney for an ordinance.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Chandler or whomever. So, for our viewers at home, what is the Arts Advisory, no, the newly formed Arts Commission gonna do?
Well, it's not newly formed. It's been in existence on the books since the 70s. What we had was an art advisory committee.
Okay.
And what we're trying to do is put some of these committees, if they already are established in the city ordinance, let's start using them. So we're trying to kind of put some framework with the committee, instead of making them advisory, start making a little bit more of a working group for us to work with. All 9 members unanimously voted that this is a good thing. They want to move forward. All the terms stay the same. Individuals not be removed or anything of the sort, or so it's just put some more context with what they're doing, rather than a committee and then I'll become a commission.
Is it fair to say one of the things they do is take a look at art that we put around throughout the city, whether it be in the parks or downtown or whatever?
Oh, yeah,
Whether we purchase, lease, or on loan?
When we do the public art, the sculpture program, they take a lot of the recommendations from the Parks Department or from Angela over at the library. They submit it to them. And then they also start picking some of the public art that goes in the downtown and other areas we're trying to make it go.
At that time, we compete with other cities or whatever, they're looking at some of that art, so.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
From out-of-town artists and bring them in and set them up.
I know that 2 years ago, they did the parking meters
Yes.
fundraiser thing.
Yes.
Right? Are they engaged in any other philanthropic, private sector fundraising initiatives?
Yeah, the parking meters was designed, it's more of a visual impact. It wasn't going to bring a lot of money in, but every month Kathy Douglas goes and she opens them all and takes out the quarters and things, and we have about $300 in our account so far, which is a nice thing. They have come up with other ideas for some other projects, and one of the charges they have is, okay, it's a neat idea, how's it going to work?
Yeah.
where we can get the money from, how much it's gonna cost me, who's gonna make this thing go? And so they're actually really good discussions when we talk about the different art projects we wanna do.
What about, there's a artist market in front of Skeleton Key, right? Or is our municipal arts soon, our old arts commission involved in that at all?
I don't know if they're actively involved so far as choosing artists or anything of the sort.
Right.
It'd be more of Skeleton Key said, I wanna do something bigger, let's talk. Let's figure out how to make it go.
I think we should reach out to them and proactively say, hey, you got a little artist market going on here. How can we grow this into a, compete with the Bow Arts Fair or whatever, right? So maybe that's a direction. Thanks. I do appreciate the attention to cleaning up our boards and commissions. It's something that we've talked a lot about, so it's nice.
Couple years now. Okay. Roll call, please.
Alderman Keenan.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Spargattis.
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, motion carried.
Item 22.
Report from the Community and Economic Development Department regarding an amendment to Chapter 11, Article 3 of the Code of Ordinances relating to the Beautification Commission and the reduction of the membership of the commission through attrition from the current total of 10 members to 9 members.
Move to approve the proposed changes to the Code of Ordinances as recommended and approve the membership changes requested and refer to the city attorney for an ordinance.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
I have a question. How many members' terms are expiring?
I mean, this year, I know we're bringing 10 over, and there are 10 active members. I have to read through here, find how many there currently are.
There's 10, and you're
Is
gonna
there 10?
reduce it to 9.
Yeah, through attrition. That means that we're not gonna cut anybody at this point in time. That means the first one who says, you know what, I don't wanna be on there anymore, or my term will expire, that will not be replaced.
I just wanna make sure if that one person was okay about being cut off the board.
All of them voted unanimously
Off
to
the
move
island.
forward.
All right, I was just curious.
Is there merging of Keep Rock Island Beautiful and the Beautification Commission?
Is there currently discussions on that?
Well, I mean, what's the vision there? Any?
Well, Keep Rock Island Beautiful is actually a standalone entity.
Are they like incorporated? Are they an official 501c3?
Yes.
They're fully with the state and with the national
Okay.
Keep America Beautiful
Right.
program, so they can apply for grants, they operate on their own, the whole shoot and match. Now, would we incorporate them into it? I don't know.
I mean, if they're open, if we're open, why duplicate things?
They're a group, Keep Rock Island Beautiful, we fund every year. They do a great service to us. I mean, they provide the equipment, the grabbers, the buckets, the bags, all that good stuff for cleanups. And they have some tasks ahead of them, and they've been working on that. They've had some turnover with the executive director. They've had some turnover with their board. My staff has been working with them to get focused and find ways to make sure that the reporting financially to the national level and the state level has been done accordingly. They are in good graces now with both of those organizations. So we've been working hard with them, but having them as a standalone entity allows them to apply for grants that we can't apply for. So it's nice to have them kind of with us,
Yeah.
but also separate.
It's kind of like I'm envisioning the MLK Center / board. It's a municipal department, but it's also a nonprofit organization, so you can leverage both sides. It's an idea. Thanks.
Roll call.
Alderman Keenan.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Spargattis.
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, motion carried.
Item 23.
23, Traffic Engineering Committee requests, A and B. A, report from the Traffic Engineering Committee regarding a request for the installation of a handicap parking space at 2803 6th Avenue, directly in line with the west entry door to the home. And B, report from the Traffic Engineering Committee regarding a request for the installation of a handicap parking space at 909 21st Street.
Motion to approve the requests as recommended for items A and B and refer to the city attorney for ordinances.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Guinan.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Brigadis.
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Motion carried.
Item 24.
Report from the city clerk regarding a plaza event application from Alpha Sigma Chi to hold a fundraiser Flip the District on Saturday, October 12th, 2019, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. with sound amplification. A request for consumption of alcohol in the fenced-in area and a request for the waiver of application and event fees.
Motion to approve the event as requested as recommended, subject to complying with all plaza and liquor license regulations, and subject to being closed down early if complaints are received.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Roll call.
Alderman Guinan.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Spargattis.
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Motion carried.
Item 25.
Report from the city clerk regarding requests from Cool Beans Coffee House and Radical Effect Brew Works for a street closing of the portion of the alley between their two properties, 1325 30th Street and 1340 31st Street, beginning at 4:30 p.m. to 8 p.m., and sound amplification on Saturday, October 5th, 2019, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. for the Augustana Homecoming 10-year reunion, and a request for the outdoor sale and consumption of alcohol in the enclosed area during the event.
This is my ward. I would like to make the motion to approve the outdoor event as request as recommended, subject to complying with all liquor license regulations and subject to being closed down early if complaints are received.
Second.
Second. Any
Border's my
discussion?
ward, man.
Yeah, well,
Alderman Guinan.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Spargattis.
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
Parker.
West. Aye.
Pulis.
aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Motion carried.
Item 26.
Street closing and sound amplification requests, A through C. A, report from the city clerk regarding a request from Doug Womack for a street closing of 8th Street between 9th Avenue and 11th Avenue on Sunday, September 22nd, 2019, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. for a block party. B, report from the city clerk regarding a request from Stephen Moeller for a street closing of 22.5 Avenue between 25th Street and 26th Street on Saturday, September 21st, 2019, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. for a block party. And C, report from the city clerk regarding a request for sound amplification from the Rock Island High School Student Council on Saturday, September 21st, 2019, from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the high school, 1400 25th Avenue, in the courtyard for their homecoming dance.
Move to approve the street closings and sound amplification requests as recommended for items A through C.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call. Oh, I'm sorry, did you say you have something, Dave? Or you don't?
Nope.
Alderman, oh,
Ignore
Alderman,
me.
Alderman Guinan.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Spargattis.
Yes.
Swanson.
Yes.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Motion carried.
27, other business.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to announce the 7th Ward will be having a ward meeting. We've been invited by Evelyn Day. It's her birthday. She's closing off the block for her party. 5:30 will be the time for the ward meeting. It's a potluck, so bring a dish to share. It'll be this Saturday, September 14. I'll have information on our Facebook page, on my Facebook page. There will be dancing in the street. There'll be a DJ there, and we'll have a bouncy house for the kids and a dunk tank. And then Randy and some other staff will be up there at 5:30. So this is open to 7th Ward residents and also anyone else in the city that wants to come.
Sounds like fun. I should cancel my vacation.
I think your vacation sounds fun too, though.
My ward meeting just had pizza, Dave. Thanks.
Well, we're going to have the
Oh.
left, right, and center game. So if you've
Nice,
never played
nice.
that, come on up about 5:30.
Is that the dice game? CLR?
Sure is.
And I'm gonna
Oh,
hit the
yeah,
dunk
I
tank.
like
You hit
that
the dunk
game.
tank?
That's a good one.
Oh, I thought Randy was getting the dunk tank.
Yeah. Can I bring up an request, I guess? This afternoon, I was emailing all of you individually to not violate OMA, and I was just like, oh my goodness, this just takes so much time. So I'll just bring it up here. So it has been brought to my attention that there is no mention of affordable housing in our downtown revitalization plan, our formalized plan that guides, the municipal plan, sorry for using that word a lot, for how we're going to revitalize the downtown. That, to me, seems strange and problematic. We have community housing partners, formerly the Rock Island Housing Authority, which does nothing but affordable housing in downtown Rock Island. And I don't know about the rest of you, but affordable housing is something that's very important to me, making sure that we have affordable housing, being proud of the fact that we have so much affordable housing in Rock Island. But it was omitted back in 2016 or whenever, prior to, I believe, all of us being on the council. So I've talked to Randy about it a little bit, and understanding the workload of staff currently, because they got a lot of stuff on their plate, especially zoning and CED. We just had a presentation from Miles, and his workload is never ending. But I would like for us to discuss that. I mean, it's a simple amendment, as I understand, that we include that the city of Rock Island supports affordable housing in downtown Rock Island, right? It does, as I understand, affect developers that are wanting to do developments in downtown Rock Island if they are trying to finance it through things like low-income tax credits, new market tax credits, special funding from the Illinois Housing Development Authority, different state agencies, or HUD that gives money to developers to build, which we are trying to do in downtown Rock Island. Those agencies will review municipalities' comprehensive plans or downtown plans, and they do note that there is no mention of affordable housing in this entire document, and they do not prioritize projects for developers in municipalities that make no mention of affordable housing. Why would they give you public dollars that's supposed to be spent on making affordable housing if your municipality says we don't care about affordable housing? So I'll probably still will send you an individual email, just like you got about the humane pet store ordinance too. Thank you, everybody, for responding to that. But whether that be something that we can hash out via email or something that we need to have a study session or something to that effect, I would really like us to have a conversation about it.
So we can set up a study session. We're pretty booked right now, but it's really a discussion of, it's not just affordable housing, it's LMI housing. So what percentage of LMI housing, what percentage of market rate do you want in the downtown? Because that drastically affects what kind of development you're going to have. So it's worthy of a discussion, I think.
Sure.
I think it's worthy of discussion. Once again, I'll go on record and say that I think, I personally feel that we have enough in the downtown area, and I believe in quality affordable housing like they've been doing is either renovating places or tearing them down and building new ones and everything else. But, I think everything in the right proportion, and so I feel that the city of Rock Island does its fair share in affordable housing. I'm not saying there's not a need. I think there's a big need. But I think the city of Rock Island, my personal opinion, the city of Rock Island has done its fair share and done quite a bit of it. And we need to have the right balance of it because, it affects other things too the other way, whether it be the property taxes and how high they are, or the average income when you're looking at retailers. Retailers look at the average income, your median income, and that it does affect it, unfortunately, in a negative way. Not that there aren't dollars there to be spent, but not enough and not in the right place. So it can have some negative effect to it if you have too much of any one thing. I'm not, it's like life in general, everything in moderation.
Sure.
So that's where I got to say that I think that needs to be talked about and being weighed very carefully.
I think a review's in order.
I do too. No, that's fine.
Yeah, especially because we haven't, we did have a study session. I don't remember if it was with the newer council, where Miles had a study session about the downtown plan. And there was no mention of this subject in that update. It seems like something that we should be talking about. And we rely on staff to say, hey, this is an important issue to talk about. Please include that.
Anything else for the good of the cause? All right. We, 28, motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn to 6:45 PM Monday, September 23rd.
Your second for that?
Sure.
All those,
Second.
second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Adjourned.